Ronald James wasn't an ordinary man, but in the school where he worked, he was unnoticed. He wasn't a teacher, a principal, or a student, but rather a janitor, a custodian who played a crucial, though invisible, role in the life of the institution. He arrived every morning, long before the first rays of sunlight, and left late in the evening, after everyone had gone home. He knew every corner of the school, every tile in the hallway, every door that creaked, every window that didn't close properly. The students hardly noticed him, and the administrative staff rarely spoke of him. Yet without him, the school wouldn't run smoothly. Ronald was a man of principles. Modest, dedicated, and simple, he was almost invisible to others. He had never sought the spotlight. He didn't want attention drawn to himself. In the eyes of the students and teachers, he was just a figure, a shadow, a man who swept the hallways and repaired what was broken. But in reality, he was so much more than that. He was the glue that held the school together, the invisible thread that connected the stones of the vast edifice that was the high school. The students didn't know that behind his unassuming appearance was a man with a huge heart, who performed every task with care and attention. He was always there, ready to lend a hand without being asked, to fix a broken chair in the teacher's lounge, to clean up the paint splatters on the floor, to patch up the holes in the walls left by the students' clumsiness. There was never any complaint in his voice, never a murmur of discontent. For Ronald, every task, no matter how small or insignificant it seemed, was important. Because to him, every gesture mattered. One day, as he walked through the hallways at the end of the day, he overheard a group of students talking about the day they had just had. "It's fine, the school is clean," one of them said. Another added, "Thank goodness, we didn't have any problems with the toilets today." Ronald stopped for a moment, a slight smile on his lips. To the students, everything was normal. Everything was fine as long as the school was running as usual. But behind these seemingly innocent words, he knew it was all because of him, thanks to his silent and constant work. Yet no one noticed. The school principal, Mr. Barron, had been watching this for years. Over time, he had come to appreciate Ronald's value, far beyond what could be seen on the surface. Every day, Ronald did his work with a precision and passion that was almost unusual. He had no career ambitions, no dream of a promotion. He was simply there, making sure the school ran well, doing his job with unwavering dedication. As time went on, Mr. Barron began to think about how he could pay tribute to this man who, though asking for nothing, deserved so much. He knew that the school community didn't realize the depth of his commitment. So, he decided to take action. One morning, after a long meeting with the teachers and administrative staff, Mr. Barron made the decision to bring Ronald into the spotlight. He knew this would surprise the humble man, that he would probably be uncomfortable with the sudden attention. But he was determined to ensure Ronald received the recognition he deserved. Mr. Barron then proposed a special ceremony, a chance to celebrate the person who, without anyone knowing, held the school together. A grand event was organized in the school's auditorium, and the entire school was invited to attend. The students, initially curious, wondered why they were invited to such a special ceremony, but no one knew exactly why. A murmur spread through the school. Who's going to be honored? Someone famous? An alumnus? The awaited day arrived. The students and staff gathered in the large hall. Excitement was in the air. Everyone was eager to see what it was all about. The students whispered among themselves, wondering if the event would be interesting. Then Mr. Barron stepped onto the stage, dressed in his impeccable suit, a kind smile on his face. He began his speech by talking about the importance of the school community, about team spirit, and how everyone, whether a teacher or a student, contributed to making the school what it was. Then he said something that took everyone by surprise. "Today, we are honoring a man who, for many years, has been an integral part of our school, a man without whom this school would not run as smoothly. This man is Ronald James." A deep silence fell over the room. The students looked at each other, some visibly surprised, others wondering why this man, whom they barely knew, deserved such an honor. But when Mr. Barron announced that a video would be shown, everyone quieted down. On the big screen, images of Ronald appeared. He was seen cleaning the empty hallways before the students arrived, repairing chairs in classrooms, cleaning graffiti from the toilets. Then, testimonials from teachers and students began to appear. A teacher explained how Ronald had helped him fix a water leak in his classroom. Another shared how Ronald had helped prepare a room for a special event, lending his tools and ensuring everything was in order. A student testified to Ronald's kindness, his ability to always lend a listening ear. The students began to see Ronald in a different light. The video not only showed his work, but also his calm and always smiling face, his caring gaze. He was a man who didn't expect anything in return, but gave everything he had. Through these testimonials, the students realized that Ronald was not just a janitor. He was a pillar of the school, a man who had turned a simple job into a mission of service, dedication, and kindness. When the video ended, a total silence took over the room. No one had seen this coming. The students, once indifferent, were now captivated. Mr. Barron then turned to Ronald, who had remained seated in the shadows, his head down. He invited him to come up on stage. Ronald, still surprised, stood up slowly, his steps hesitant. He had never been comfortable in the spotlight, but today, he had no choice. When he reached the stage, he felt overwhelmed with emotion. The principal handed him something wrapped in cloth. Hesitantly, Ronald unwrapped it and discovered a car key, a bright red color. It was a brand new SUV, a model he never imagined he could afford. A murmur of admiration spread through the room. The students, astonished, realized the magnitude of the gesture. Mr. Barron spoke again. "Ronald, for all these years you've given without asking, for your kindness, perseverance, and unwavering dedication, we want to honor you today. This isn't just a car we're offering you. It's our recognition, our admiration, and our respect." Ronald, his eyes filled with tears, stammered a few words. "I don't know what to say. I never thought my actions could be noticed this much. Thank you, thank you." He couldn't even express what he was feeling. All of this seemed unreal. It wasn't the car that mattered. It was the recognition from an entire community. He looked out at the room, where every student, every teacher, was clapping enthusiastically. He felt both humble and honored. But that wasn't all. A shy student, Tim, came up to the stage with a small envelope. He handed it to Ronald, and Ronald, a bit confused, opened it. Inside, he found a handwritten note. "Mr. James, thank you for everything you've done for me. You've always been there, even when I didn't ask. Your smile, your listening ear, all of that has helped me a lot." This simple message deeply touched Ronald. He knew it wasn't just a gesture for show. It was a sincere expression of gratitude, a gesture from the heart. Applause erupted again. But for Ronald, this moment went far beyond the car or the gifts. What he had just experienced wasn't just an act of recognition. It was confirmation that sometimes work in the shadows has more value than anything else. That sometimes kindness and dedication, even when invisible, are noticed and can transform lives. When Ronald got into his car, accompanied by his children, he felt lighter. He knew that this gift wasn't just the end of a chapter, but the beginning of a new era in his life. But more than anything, he realized that it wasn't the object or the material recognition that mattered most. It was the love, the admiration, and the respect he had earned from his colleagues and students. As he drove home that evening, Ronald James understood that he had found his place in this world. And even though he was just a janitor in a high school, he had proven that even the smallest actions can have a big impact.